You lose clients more from lack of communication than from any other way.
Welcome back to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani. Today we have with us Elliot Kallen. Elliot runs Prosperity Financial Group, and he's been in the financial world for over 3 decades now. What I love about his approach is that it's not about just the numbers. He really gets into the whole picture of what financial success looks like for a person, a family that he works with. He also started this charity called A Brighter Day that focuses on teen mental health. Welcome to our show, Elliot.
Shahid, great to be here. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, Elliot, I've heard you talk about this Fingerprint Financial Planning approach, which is a very cool name, by the way. What does it actually look compared to all the other typical financial advice that we're accustomed to?
So that's a great question. Fingerprint Financial Planning is one of those trademarks that we have. And we looked at it this way. Your financial advice for you should be as unique as your fingerprint. It should not be generic. There are only 4 or 5 softwares that do financial planning in the United States. That's it. So basically, most financial plans look identical. So it's about the numbers. We have people in our office who are also about the numbers and so forth, and there are clients about the numbers. But the difference is what we try to do is add behavioral finance and get to know this person. The average senior spends 4 hours a day watching TV. That's not a good retirement plan. So we talk about that. What is the plan in your retirement? Is it travel? Well, how do we put enough money to travel? Which countries is it? Is it working with your grandchildren? Do you want to buy a house for your children? What is the plan for your money? Do you want to die? I used to joke around. Do you want to die with your last check bouncing? Is that one of the plans? To spend every penny you have. The children will get enough. They don't need your money anyway. Give it away. Is charity really important? I built a foundation. I know what that is. So the why is what makes us different than the what.
The why. But in general, when you sit with a financial advisor, don't they actually discuss those aspects of your life? What's your plan? What you would like to do? I feel like there's more to this fingerprint as this way that you have. Is there anything else you could share about it?
There are some good financial planners out there. I don't want to say we're the only good financial planner. There are millions of us in the market. There's a percentage of very good ones. There are a percentage of ones that you should avoid, which want to sell you a product first. And then most people fall right
in any industry.
Yeah, it's probably 20 on one end, 20% on the other end, and 60% on the middle. You probably are just okay on that. The difference is getting to know and building a relationship, a lifelong relationship with somebody. So the fingerprint is about the relationship. We get to know you, Shahid. What's important to you about your money? Not just what your money is.
You get really deep into it.
Yeah, what's important to you about your money? And I'm going to make this up. I'm from the East Coast. Hear me. I live in California. I'm from the East Coast. Is going back to the East Coast really important to me? Probably not. I like going back there. I got a lot of family there and so forth. What is really important? It turns out travel, food, and entertainment for me is really important. It's a heart of my financial plan. Travel, food, and entertainment in my retirement, which we've been doing now for 10 years. Before our retirement, we've been living that life. That's what we find out. I have something I could talk about with you. Majority of people want to travel, but they just use the word travel. And what does that mean? What does that look like to you? Do you want to go on Japan Airlines or Emirates Air first class? Is that important to you? Or you just want to get to the islands of Japan and enjoy what it is? The islands of Japan enjoy what they are. What's important to you? I just came back last week from Mykonos, Mykonos, Crete, Santorini, and Athens. Okay. Why? What's important about that trip? Why would I do that? Those are questions that we want to know when we're talking to you, because travel and food, and again, food for me means a lot because I'm an amateur chef and I love amateur cooking, and I want to take cooking courses when I'm in Athens on Greek food. That's important to me. If you don't know that about me, we're never going to have that conversation. That
Yeah, it's the
I do all the cooking in
details.
the house, right? That's what I mean
Hmm.
by fingerprints. What's unique about that? What are you going to
Yeah.
do that's different on Tuesday than you did on Thursday? Because
Hmm.
majority of people just, if they want to go to Greece, it's just on their bucket list. If they wanted to have a unique experience in Greece, let's talk about that. What does that
Hmm.
experience look like to you? How can we help you achieve that? And how can we create a plan that creates the money, which creates the availability and the opportunity for you to do something that's truly unique to you?
What's the biggest myth that you have heard about wealth management when they walk into your office, when you meet them? Is there any typical myth that you hear the most that people should be aware of?
Most people think it's a really good question.
Yeah.
It's not an easy question to answer because the person you're dealing with has to be unique to
It's
you.
unique.
It's about the relationship. Most people say, "Oh, all your financial planners are the same. They're always trying to sell product." And maybe you're an insurance-based guy and you're trying to sell annuities, or you're an investment guy and you want to sell different unique investments where maybe you get paid more money or not. But really, what makes somebody unique is that they get to know you, and they're there for you, and they ask the right questions to get to the right answers. That's what you want. The mistake is most people, they don't do that. They think that the portfolio is a portfolio. What's the difference? They all look the same. And there are a lot of very good portfolios out there. But the
Mm.
key is what makes you different. So the questions that come up is most people are, what makes you different? And I don't see any difference between you and other people. I've been to 5 dinners with 5 different companies, Morgan
Mm.
Stanley, Goldman Sachs, this company I'm with you. You guys all sound the same. And I said, we aren't the same in one way, is that we all have similar products. So the products aren't what makes it different. It's the relationship. So we're not product
Mm.
focused, we're relationship
Mm.
focused. And that's, if you're a
Relationship.
consumer, you should be looking for somebody that relates to you, that understands you,
Yeah.
that can get to know you so they can give good advice in your particular situation. Coming from a private company, a public company, a retirement, a post retirement, what does that look like that you want to call them up? It's so important to do. And the fact that
Yeah.
we all look the same with a big, broad paintbrush is not a good thing because it's not
Not a
true.
good thing. Yeah. Relationship is everything. I like to say that life is one big relationship, from business, from your home, everywhere. Even when you go pump gas somewhere, you're building a relationship with someone, because that human to human, the heart to heart, there's nothing that could replace that. And if you're able to connect with someone on that level, they will definitely be able to open up more. And if they're open up more, you're able to help them more, because if you genuinely care, that openness can only amplify that person. Yeah, I definitely agree about relationship. And you
I have a new
spoke
client
to,
in my office. He just let me interrupt you for 1 second. I had a new client walk
yeah.
in, Indian couple, and they walked in my office. Now they've been to 2 or 3 of my dinner seminars, and they walked in, and the wife is the power person in that relationship, and you get to know that right away. And I said, "Tell me something. You've been to a number of my dinners." She said, "I've been to a whole bunch of dinners. So I think we went to 5 dinners this year with different people." I said, "Really? So what made you decide to do business with me?" And she said, you seem the most trustworthy person who had our best interest in heart." And I said, "Really? Thank you. I agree with you on that. I think that's true. But you know me for an hour and a half and then a phone call and a Zoom meeting. How did you make that decision like that?" I said, "Because no one else was able to get that across but you."
Hmm. Yeah,
That that's the difference. The difference
that's
is the
key.
person. It's the person.
Yes. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. It's all energy, it's all vibes. And when you pick up something, it's beyond language, it's before language. It's this is we're able to read each other, but we haven't really strengthened that ability. We have given more attention to the intellect and the verbs and the wording and what we're saying and body movement. But there's a deeper sense of just knowing things with each other. And they probably sense that from you. They picked up, and that's why they came. That's wonderful. I love that. You mentioned you do these dinners. So are these mini events you do in hotels, and then you invite people to them and talk about your services?
So let me tell you what we're doing now and what we've done. on that.
Mhm.
So the dinners we've done are dinners like at Ruth Chris and Fleming's, where they're going out by invitation to new prospects. We've also done a whole bunch of dinners locally here in California. We have a local Italian restaurant that has a room that seats 30 in the back, upscale food. And we've invited clients to it and invited them to bring somebody. We've made
Mhm.
more money as a result of that than we ever made at these big Ruth Chris and Fleming dinners or hotels like the Marriott. So we finally stopped doing those, which are so expensive. They're $10,000, $15,000 a month to put those on, including invitations. And we decided, why don't we just do the ones where we're inviting our clients to it? And that's what we've gone to. So it's for our clients. We invite them to bring a guest. If they don't, they're still invited. But if they bring a guest, we invite them to do it. And it's wonderful. Now we're doing something new coming up in July. We're doing one at a place that's a sports-oriented one that has bowling and bocce ball and the things in it.
Nice.
And we're not giving information out about product or an opportunity. We're just inviting them to bring their friends to get to know us in the most casual of settings. And then we'll sit down and meet with them so they can sit down and talk with me 5, 10 minutes and then go bowling. So very casual, super
That's good.
casual, but nice.
Yeah.
Most people, Shahid, nobody likes to be sold. Nobody.
No.
And nobody goes into a timeshare presentation positive because they know they're going to get sold something. And they've got their defenses up.
Yeah.
So if you can create an atmosphere where you're not forced to buy anything, except maybe get some information or a little bit of information, but have some fun, then you're probably going to have a better outcome.
Yeah. And sports, that type of environment brings that out as well, because you, in a way, feel more friendly with each other when you're in that kind of environment instead of just sitting on a table eating. So I'm interested to see how the numbers shift for you compared to the dinner and the sports.
I've heard good things about it, but we're going to invite probably 50 people there, which is pretty big size, and have fun. If you want to bowl one game and go home, you can do that. You want to bowl, play
Cool.
bocce ball and bowl again, you can do that. You want to have a glass of
So,
wine and some unlimited appetizers, you could do that.
yeah. So, you do a lot of speaking to other financial advisors about motivation, marketing. Can you share how you use these principles in your own life and for your clients? Is it about building trust, or is there more to it as well? Any other kind of strategies?
That's a great question. I'm in a unique position that doesn't make me great or terrible, just unique, that I've been a financial advisor for 33 years now. So I've seen a lot. I've learned a lot. I don't want to say I'm long in the tooth or tired because I'm neither, but I've learned what works and doesn't work. So I've been invited to industry meetings constantly to speak about what works and what doesn't work because it's all about options that work for that person. What dinners I find expensive, but for you, you might love them. Things like that.
Mm,
We go over what works. We understand now artificial intelligence, but we also talk about foundation building and character
mm,
building and why trust is so important. I built a foundation and I did it because my son died and I built a foundation on that to deal with teen depression and suicide because he took his own
yeah.
life. When you have that story, then we could talk about foundation building. And now you're talking about trust because do I trust? Can I not have to? I shouldn't have to sell trust to my prospects. I should exude trust.
Yeah.
So
Just
we talk about
be
that.
trust.
Be
Yeah.
trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm,
honesty and trustworthy, I could talk about till I'm blue in the face, but you either have it or you don't.
yeah. Yeah. No, I see that. No, for sure. Now, that's why you won those awards, the most trusted in California.
I got a, I've got a
But
lot of awards behind me and on the walls, and my
yeah,
staff makes me
yeah.
put them up there. I wouldn't put them up if it was mine because I think it's a little
That's all right.
braggadocious stuff, but they like them
Okay.
going
So
up, and the whole
it
office is filled with
helps.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or naturally skeptical. What do you think on top of that relationship aspect? Is there anything else that differentiates you guys to build that level of trust that you could share that could help someone out there do the
The,
same?
yeah, the third ingredient that we didn't talk about is communication. How are
Mhm.
you going to communicate with your prospect and client? When we do, not only do we do live events all the time, we do bi-weekly emails to our clients. on what's going on in the market. And here's an interesting topic that may or may not fit you. But we're constantly
Mhm.
putting ourselves in front of them in some form. Remember, when you get an email, you can hit the delete button really fast. And people do. Lots of
Yeah.
people do. When you're getting a newsletter, what do you do? How does that work? Then maybe that's something I want to read. When you're getting a video every Monday, which is what I put out on Mondays, of what happened last week in the market and what's happening this week, how is that going to work for you? How do you feel about that? So some people
Mhm.
say, I love your videos. Some people say, I love your newsletters. Some people say, I really appreciate your articles when the market goes down 1,000 points or 500 points. You are the first one to send me either a video or an email saying, okay, this is what just happened and we're buying, we're not selling. You're constantly reassuring me that you're looking at my account. So, I've got 200 clients or 140 clients. You can't look at 140 accounts today. It's impossible. So I build portfolios for them. I can look at my portfolios every day. When they're going down, I feel that personal pain because I'm also invested in those portfolios. And so I make sure I know
Mm.
what I'm talking about. And I tell them, listen, I've got 6 portfolios. I'm in 2 of them. I'm not in 6. I can't be in 6. I'm in 2. So they say, that's all right. You're investing, you're putting your money where your mouth is. And we appreciate that. Look at that.
Mm.
So they know I have their back. And I'm constantly reminding them these are buying opportunities, not selling opportunities when the market goes down, which is what you lose clients more from lack of communication than from any other way.
Good point.
Yeah.
No, good point. Thank you for sharing that. What really fascinates me about success, and I study that. That's what I do, and this show is one of the byproducts of it to get people like yourself on here and to learn from you and to share your message and just find information that can help others out there just maybe holding back. And I don't feel it's fair for anybody to just settle because we do have this incredible amount of power as a human being. So when you look at everything that you built, your business, your charity, your recognitions, your family, everything, can you share if you are aware of any specific secret sauce or anything that made it all possible, like something that you always had in you that helped you get this done? Is there anything you could share on that?
That's a really great question.
Mm.
And I have an answer because I've been asked that before. And that is, I've been very fortunate in my life that I came from parents, not just that were loving, but they left an indelible mark on their 3 children. So my father was a World War II greatest generation guy born in 1915. And his mark to me was nothing replaces hard work. That was his mess. He had a lot of messages for me, but that's the one I remember most, which means that when I come to work, I'm almost always the first one here. 7:30, 6:30 in the morning. I like it. I want to come to work. I work hard. Sometimes I'll come in on Saturdays because I can get more done. My mother, she was from Europe. She was an Auschwitz concentration camp survivor. And her message to me was you could do better today than yesterday and better tomorrow than today, which means that every time you come to work doing better than you did the day before. So when I come to work and I sit down and I start mapping out my day, I'm not somebody who does a lot of that the night before, but that day, I'm mapping out who I could talk to today and what action I could take today that will be better than what I did yesterday. And I'm going to put the hours in to do it. So I think my
Mm.
secret sauce, fortunately for me, we're having 2 loving parents who said, go to work every day and excel at what you do the best way you can.
Yeah.
So,
And you mentioned, sorry?
nope, that's my secret sauce, I think.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You mentioned hard work, but it really sounds like there's another level here with what you did because I think maybe it's that high level of passion that you have. There's this level of passion that you're saying hard work, but it seems like to me, I could be wrong, but you could tell me that when you do work, you don't feel like it's work. It's just you're just flowing because you have that passion to back it up.
Well, that's a great word, passion. I wrote about my whole book
Yeah.
over my left shoulder called Driven includes passion. Look, you've heard a lot of people say, Shahid, live your passion and do that. And then every day,
Yeah.
if you work your passion, it'll never feel like work. Those are not new phrases. I didn't create those phrases there. I want to tell you that my father used to tell me when we talked about hard work, he said, it's not just working hard, because the garbage men who picked up our garbage,
Yeah,
work pretty
that's my
hard.
point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You have to do something that you can excel at. He didn't understand
Hmm.
passion, but he understood the word you can excel at. That's the same thing
Hmm.
in a way.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
said, for
Yeah.
me, I love what I do. I love what I do. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm very passionate what I do because I love it.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed helping
Hmm.
people in retirement. And when it comes to the
Yeah.
charity, although I would prefer not to have her started the charity for that reason, but saving lives is saving lives. You can't get more passionate about that. You're saving a life. So in my
Yeah.
business life, I'm changing lives. In my
Yeah.
charitable life, I'm saving lives. Those are
Yes.
pretty good days to come to work and pretty good ways that you
Yeah.
could think every day
Awesome.
you got purpose. I've got purpose. I go home with
Yeah.
purpose. I come to work with purpose. I talk to you with purpose.
Yeah.
It means something. It's not just a job, it's something. And
No.
when you fail, it's
Yeah.
accept when somebody leaves you. I tell you the downside of this. When somebody leaves you, and people do leave you for all types of reasons, when they do leave you, it hurts in every possible way because you put your heart into it. But they still leave you. It happens.
It happens. No, that's wonderful. And that's what I was sensing as well, because you can tell when there's hard work and then there's passion based work. You mentioned hard work because we're just used to seeing it, but when you have that level of passion, the work doesn't seem hard at all. You're just flowing with it. It's just the beauty of life. It's just loving that moment and
It
whatever
is.
the contents are of that moment. No, it
My
was
kids,
great talking to you today.
I want to say, like my kids talk to me, just sort of ended. My kids talk to me about passion, and
Yeah.
I wanted to correct something about the word passion with them,
Mm.
because if you love painting, then being a passionate painter is important. But making a living
Of
can open up
course.
opportunities. So you have to have passion with opportunity and understand how both
Yes.
fit in with your own life.
Yes. It definitely is. If you're really passionate, it's so funny you mentioned that. I was talking to a parent and he said that his kid's guidance counselor, he went to ask him, "What should I do? I'm confused." She goes, "What are your passions?" She goes, "I really love to paint. I like to draw things, right?" So she said, "Yeah, just go into that, start drawing." So the dad was telling me that he got really upset, saying that the guidance counselor recommended that. You should have said, "Okay, you like art. What can you do in art that could provide you a lifestyle, blah blah, whatever." So the opportunity behind that passion was important, but it was missed. And I totally get it. You could be passionate, but when your North Star is something that is gleaming internally with you and is just so beautiful and you're so passionate about it, the opportunities that you need to get there are that's what you jump on. You
Yeah, but
stop passionate about it because the
that
end
guidance
goal where you're
counselor should
trying
have
to
talked
go.
about architecture.
Yeah, stuff
Yeah,
like
that would
that.
be so.
Easy way out.
Yeah, I'll give you a
So
quick story. I've got one more moment. I'll give you a quick story. So
yeah,
when
yeah.
I was in third grade, they did the first heart transplant in South Africa was done, and then later in Brooklyn, New York. And the one from Brooklyn, New York was on some local public TV type of thing, and we watched it. And I said to my parents, I want to be a heart doctor one day. So I wrote a letter. They said, why don't you write a letter to the doctor that you saw on TV in the Maimonides Hospital in Brooklyn, this Dr. Adrian Kantrowitz. And I did. And in my handwriting, which in third grade was a third grader, my handwriting
Mm,
today is it hasn't improved much.
yeah.
So I
Mine
sent it to
either.
him. Yeah. And I said, I want to be a heart surgeon one day, a heart doctor one day, all because of you. And his secretary, his administrative assistant, called my mother up and made an appointment for me to come in and spend a half a day with him, going around doing rounds. And she set that up. My brother and I went in, we did rounds with him. And then I held the lungs open of a German Shepherd. My brother held the other lungs open while they did a heart transplant.
Mm,
And that was their way of saying, if you love this, we've just exposed you to something in life that you could be. And they did. They didn't even know they were saying, we want you to follow your passion. I didn't become a heart doctor. A lot of ways I wish I did. But they set up ways without ever understanding the word passion and living your dream, if this is your dream, We want to create an opportunity where you can live your dream. And for a third grader, that was my dream. They set that
Yeah.
up. And that's pretty
Yeah.
amazing. If you're a parent and you hear this story, that's an amazing story for your children.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. Wow. I had a great time talking to you, actually. The information you're sharing, what you're talking about is definitely, I can see how it can elevate someone's life. So I appreciate your time today. I appreciate that you came and you shared your voice, your message, and I wish you all the growth and success, my friend. Keep in touch.
Shahid, it was great being on the show. Thanks so much.